Hello everybody, Jordan with Cloud Underground here again on another Thursday. I hope you're all having a good week. Today I'm going to teach you some Blender basics by making a simple desktop organizer. But first, this video is brought to you by the RPG of Life Incubator from Cloud Underground. Make starting a company as straightforward as playing an RPG with the RPG of Life Incubator from Cloud Underground. Start building your business for free today. Link in the description below. Get it now. So, today I'm going to talk a little bit about Blender, and it may seem kind of strange, but the reasons I'm doing this is that Blender is a really cool tool for making 3D objects or for making 3D animations and things like that. I personally have used it primarily to make objects, so that's what I'm going to be teaching you. But it's super cool and super useful for doing that, and if you have a 3D printer, then you can bring those objects to life super fast and easily, and Blender is a great tool for using this stuff. Now, some people will tell you to learn CAD, and I'm not going to disagree with that. You should go learn CAD because CAD is a super powerful tool. I personally haven't learned CAD yet because I learned Blender, and I think a lot of the things that you do in CAD, you can also do in Blender. Sometimes it's not as elegant of a tool, but the thing I think that is an advantage that Blender has over CAD is that if you download other people's models, CAD, you often need a shapefile that has, or some sort of file that has all of the steps that were used to produce the CAD model in the first place. And if you don't have that, you can't necessarily import the model into the CAD software and modify it. But basically every 3D model, or most of the repositories I've used, use STL files in the repositories, and you can modify STL files in Blender. So you can take people's models that they've CAD'd for a long time, pull them into Blender, and then tweak them as you need for your own purposes. And so some of the things that I use CAD for, well, we're getting ready to release some of these Raspberry Pi cases, and I used not CAD but Blender to create these cases. So this was all designed in Blender. Well, putting the wrong way. And so you can use Blender to make, your own products if you were building a business that you can sell, or things to help you streamline your processes, or whatever it is. So anyway, that's why we're talking about Blender a little bit today. I'm going to keep it super basic today. I'm not even going to talk about setting up the scene. One of these days I will do that. But today we are just going to do a little tiny bit of modeling, just default Blender as it comes out of the box, essentially. And if you don't know how to install Blender, then I went over how to install Blender in Linux in the Underground Nexus last week, and that's what I'm in. I'm in a Underground Nexus instance running Blender here, and we are going to make a quick desktop organizer. Nothing fancy, but that's what we're going to do. So normally you open up Blender and you click, if we do new and you do general, I usually do a general file. We won't save this. This is the scene that you end up with. This is just Blender out of the box. So we've got a cube, and then we've got a camera and a light source. We actually don't need these camera or the light source since we're not really animating. We're just making a 3D model, so those are irrelevant. And we also have at the bottom here our timeline, also irrelevant, so I'm just going to click close this area because we don't need it. Now, something that we do need that I currently don't see is over here. You see this little tiny arrow? We need to open this up to be able to see properties of the item and modify them. So let's open that up. Again, if it's closed, you'll see this little arrow. You can just open it, and boom, we can modify our item. So right now we've got this little cube. Let's start turning it into a desktop organizer. So the first thing I'm going to do is make it the approximate size that we want. And right now we're in object mode, so just keep that in mind. If you are adding objects, then you want to be in object mode. So we've got this little cube, and it's also, the units are in meters. However, when you export an STL file, it essentially just saves the numbers, not necessarily the units they're in. So if you save an STL and it's in meters, and then you pull it into a slicer that like a 3D printer uses to determine how it needs to move to make the pattern, then it will just be looking at the numbers and it'll automatically convert things to millimeters in my experience. So you don't really need to worry too much about the units. So we're just going to work with the default meters units and not worry about that here. There are ways to fix that, and I'll probably go over those in a future video. But for now, we're just going to do things out of the box. So we've got this cube. Let's start turning it into a desktop organizer. I'm thinking like a simple little tray with an indentation where we can store things and maybe a couple of spots for pens to sit, something along those lines. So I think in the X dimension, we probably want this to be maybe 150 millimeters. So we'll put 150 in. And then in the Y direction, we probably want it to be maybe like 40 millimeters, I think would be okay. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Let's go 50 actually. And let's see, is 2 millimeters thick enough? Probably not. Let's make it 20 millimeters. That looks like a good start for kind of a base. Now the first thing that we need to do is click on the object, make sure that it's selected, our cube here, and then we're going to press Control and A, and that will allow us to apply the transforms. So we're going to apply scale because we have changed the scale of this item. So if we look at it right now, you can see the scale are very strange. They're basically 2 multiplied by whatever the scale is to get the dimensions that we have, and we don't want that because it makes Blender do weird things when we're trying to make inset cuts or things like that. So let's again select our object, press Control A, and let's click Scale. And now you can see the scale is 1 on all of these. So that just makes it so the object is scaled correctly. And if we start doing operations, it doesn't do weird things that we don't expect. So, okay. So we've got our object here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is go into edit mode so that we can actually edit this object. And I think I'm going to have the pens go over here, and I want that to be a little bit even thicker than 20 millimeters. So let's press, if we go over to these tools, we'll see there's a bunch of things. So we've got add cube, we got extrude region, inset faces, bevel, cut, loop cut, knife, and if you hover over these, it'll give you the shortcut that we use to activate the tool. So we don't necessarily, like beveling, we can use Control B instead of having to click this button. So I generally use the shortcuts because things are faster. So the first thing that we're going to do is make a line across the top that we can use to essentially make part of this bigger for the pen holder bit. So we're going to just make sure that it's selecting that edge on the backside. And you can see that that edge lights up. And then we're going to make a cut. So I pressed K to activate this tool. And then we're going to make it highlight the other edge. And we're going to press Enter. And now we have an area that we can have our pen holder in. And let's make sure that it's consistent. So this is at 75. This is at 17 blah blah right now. You know, it's not. So let's go ahead and just make this 18. So that it's, you know, a full unit, and then we'll do the same for this bottom side, and that will make this so that it's all square, perfectly square and everything. And then the next thing we're going to do, so these little buttons up here allow you to determine whether you are selecting vertices, which is what we're on right now, edges, okay, or faces. And you can switch between them, so we could select this face and then go to vertices, and you'll see we've got those 4 vertices that represent the face selected. Or if we click on edges, we got the edges that create that face selected. Anyway, just so you kind of understand what these things do, because we're going to switch between these a decent amount. Anyway, so I'm going to have faces selected right now, although it doesn't really matter much. And then we're going to extrude this region, which you can see is E. So let's press E, and that starts extruding. So that's what I want to do. Now, there are more options for the extrude tool. If we press Control Z to go back, then we just go back to where we were. And we can select this face again and press Alt E, and that will give us different options for extruding. So we can extrude the face along normals, extrude individual faces. Now these different options come into play when we're doing more complex models. Today it doesn't really matter because it's just a single face. We'll just do Alt E and we'll do extrude face, and let's extrude it by, let's do 15 millimeters and see where that gets us. No, let's do 20 millimeters. So I just typed in 20. If I backspace, then it'll go back. We could type in 15, or we can go backspace again to put 20 back in, and then once you press enter, then it holds it and saves it. So okay, so now we have a little place where we can maybe have like 4 pens sitting here, and then over here I want there to be some sort of like divot, or a little area where we can drop things and hold like paper clips or whatever it is. So right now we've got this whole face. I basically want an inset. So if we go over here, we can see inset faces. The command for that is I, and that's what we want. So let's press I, and you'll see what happens. Okay, so now if I move my mouse, then it starts making this inset. But we can also, and this is why we needed to do that Control A command in the beginning. If you don't have the scale set correctly, then this will do wonky things. It won't be square the way that it is right now. So anyway, I want it to inset maybe 2 millimeters. Let's do 2 millimeters. So we can just go to whatever the default is and press 2, and it'll inset by 2 millimeters, and we can press enter. And then we're going to use that extrude command again. So if we just press E, I think it'll work, but you can do Alt E alternatively and press extrude face, and then we can extrude it down. And we just got to make sure that we're not extruding too far. So how deep did we make this thing? 20, I think. Well, let's do 18 and keep it consistent. So I kind of finished the extrusion. So if you finish what you're doing but you haven't done anything additional yet, usually you have this options for the last move that you made right here in the bottom left, and my face is covering that. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I'll move myself here, right there. Hopefully I'm not in the way of anything. Okay, so now you can see this little, it's like the options for the last move that you made. So we did minus 15, and if this thing is minus 20, like I think it is, or 20 millimeters thick, then if we want a 2 millimeter base, we want it to do minus 18, not minus 15, and that looks good. Now we can use, so this is, I guess it's sort of your compass, that shows you how we are looking at things, and you can actually click on the different parts of this to get it to show you certain faces. So we can look directly from top down by pressing the Z here, or from the side by pressing the X, or the other side by pressing the Y. And if we click on this viewpoint, so these are different options for how to view the model. So normally we just do viewport shading, which is fine. It's like not rendering lights or anything. Some of these other ones will actually try and like see what the lighting looks like on the object and things like that. The other thing that we can do though is see this wireframe, and we can actually look through and see that yes, indeed, we've got a nice 2 millimeter margin on the bottom and the side, and we can go back to the regular scene after we've made sure of that. Okay, so now we have this little thing, and okay, so this other side I wanted to be a pen holder, right? So the easiest way for us to add holes that could hold the pens in this region is to use a boolean. So we're going to go back to object mode, because what we're essentially going to do is create a pen object and then subtract that object from our little desktop organizer here. So we got to go back to object mode, and we're going to add a mesh cylinder. and this is gonna represent a pen. So we get a number of options here when we click add cylinder. One is the radius. I think 10 millimeters is probably about right for sort of a thick pen. So we'll go with 5 for the radius, and that will be, you know, a decently thick pen. And then, you know, I don't know, what's a pen normally, like 160 maybe or something in depth. Okay, so there we go. We've got a pen facsimile here. And we can add more vertices to it if we want it to be smoother. I usually go... I usually use multiples of 6 or so because, you know, circle has 360 degrees in it, and it just makes sense to my mind to do that. So we'll go 60 vertices. And then, yeah, so now we have a nice round pen. It doesn't have too many faces, so it should be pretty round when we, you know, take this object to the 3D printer and print it out, which I'm not going to do. I'll just say that from the beginning. I don't really have any use for this particular object, so I won't be printing it, but, you know, it's all just an exercise in how do these things work. So let's take our object right now. You can see it's not in the correct place. So we really want it to be, you can click this move button to be able to move things. We want it to be, I don't know, probably something like this, you know. And usually I go into the location and just make things whole numbers. So we'll do maybe -12. Let's see what that looks like. That's good, I'd say. And then, you know, 34 or something. And that looks good. Okay. And then obviously we need to go up a bunch in the Z. And there we go. Now we've got where we could potentially have a hole for the pens. And if we want to add another pen, because, you know, it looks like we got room for multiple holes here, then we could just like click this object, do a good old Control C to copy, and then unselect it and Control V to paste in another one. Now we've got 2 cylinders here, and we can move the second one. And if we want to move it by a particular amount, I'll press Control Z to get it back where it was. If we want to move it by a particular amount in a single direction, like we want this one to move in the X direction probably, we can press G, which is the grab command that starts moving the object, and then we can say X after G. So you would press, here, let me escape. So just start over. So I pick my object, I got it selected, I press G to start moving it, and then X, Z, or Y to choose the direction that we want to move it in. So if I press Z, then now it's moving it in the Z direction, X, it's moving it in the X direction. You can see this line, okay? And we can always, you know, or Y in the Y direction. And I want to move it in the X direction, so I'm going to go X, and it looks like we want to move it maybe 28 millimeters. Based on what I'm seeing there in the top left, we can, right here, it shows you the amount you're moving it essentially. And I've done something weird here. Once you kind of move your mouse as much as I did, it can do some weird things. So let's press escape to cancel that movement. G, X, and 28. And there we go. So now we got our 2 pens. Making 2 different holes, and we can actually select them both if we want, do Control Copy, Control V to get 2 new objects, and then we can move these both, do G, Y, and maybe 10 or something. No, it's going to need to be more than that. Let's do 30. And then we've got these 2, and C30 was a little too far. We're getting a little close to the edge here, I think. So let's just do 25. We can just change it here where it's kind of showing us the last thing we did. Boom. Okay, and now they're where we want them to be. And then what we would do is we would select the object that we want to subtract essentially the pens from, right? And let's make sure that it looks good. You know, we can do the wireframe to kind of see what's going on. But everything looks good to me. So what I would do is click, again, the object we want to subtract these other objects from. And then you click on this, let's see, where is it? Yeah, modifiers. And then we're going to add a modifier. and we're going to add a boolean modifier. And actually, we need one for each of the pens, so we're going to add 4 of them. So I'm just going to add 4 real quick. Boom. Okay, so now we've got 4 boolean modifiers, and you can see they're each doing exact solver, and they're taking the difference. So it's subtracting the pen that intersects with our object from our object. So and then we got to choose, so we've got 4 cylinders here that represent our 4 different pens, and you can actually name these here. So we could say pen 1, just to keep things from getting too confusing, pen 2, pen 3, pen 4, and if you do this from the beginning, then they'll all be named pens once you start copying with different designations behind them to keep them separate. Okay, so now we can add our pen 1. So, and then this one will be pen 2, and then this boolean will be pen 3, and then this boolean will be pen 4. Okay? And then we can just apply these, and we have to apply them one at a time. This little drop down here is how we apply them. So if we click that little drop down menu, then you get the apply button, and once it applies it, then this boolean will disappear. So boom, let's apply to pen 1. Now we can apply to pen 2. Now we can apply pen 3, and now we can apply pen 4. And then if we delete these pens, because we don't need the objects anymore, boom, there is our desktop organizer with pen holes. And if we wanted these to be angled, we could go back, undo all our booleans, set the angle that we want. Let's get a rotate thing in here. Maybe we want them to be rotated a little bit. And then we could, which one is this? This is pen 2. We could go ahead and apply our pen tool boolean, and boom. If we delete the pen, or say we want to keep the pen, we could just click the little eye over here to make it so we don't look at it anymore, so it's invisible. But you can see we now have a hole that is angled that we could put pens into. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to show you. So let's click back on this. We'll finish doing all these booleans again. So delete, 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 and we got 3 of these holes are straight, one of them's angled based on what we did there. And then the next thing we could do, say, like, see all these sharp corners, or I don't know, I don't like the sharp corners. Let's fix that. So let's go to Edit Object, and then let's select the different edges, and you need to press Shift to select multiple. So I'm going to just select all of the edges on the corners, and then let's bevel them so that they're not so sharp. So if we look over here, bevel is Control B, so we'll press Control B, and then if we move our mouse, you'll see we can start beveling them. And I realize after doing that we probably need to bevel these inside corners too. So let's grab those. So, and I don't know, sometimes beveling, well, we'll see how it goes. We'll bevel all this. So bevel, Control B, then we start moving our mouse and it shows what the bevel is doing, and see, yeah, it can kind of do some weird things when you start beveling beyond, I don't know, or beveling too many things at once, because it doesn't appear that it's beveling. Yeah, it's kind of like messing up this corner. So maybe let's undo the inside ones and see what it does. Yeah, see, that's better. It's not making that weird little sharp arrow in the corner. And so if we wanted to do this proper, we'd probably undo that, undo all those bevels, bevel the inside first. So let's select these 2 edges, we'll bevel them, and we can, let's maybe press 3, see what 3 millimeters looks like. That looks pretty good. So let's do that, and then we should be able to bevel these outside ones. Again, I got to select them all again, pressing Shift each time I select, so that the selection, you can select multiple things at once. And then Control B to bevel, and let's press 3, enter. Okay, so now we got our bevels, and look, it did mess this up still. So what we can do to fix that is we could see we've got this one point that is kind of messing things up, we could just take that point, and what you can do is merge it with another point. So let's just merge it with this second point here. So select that, and then shift and click to select both. And then if we right click, we get this menu here, and we can choose merge, and we can merge at last is the thing to do. Okay, and so there's multiple points and we're not seeing them all, so we don't actually want that to happen apparently. Oh, what's happening is we're taking this whole edge and doing that. So here's what we would probably want to do instead is, let's see, can we just delete this? No, see this edge, this is the problem right here, is that this face is extending all the way there. So what we could do is we could do this. Let's get our points up again, and I'm going to use the knife tool and just make a second cut here and do the same thing right here. And then if we select this, we can delete this face, and we can delete this little face and delete again. So there's two sides to all these faces. Let's just delete that face too and delete this face. And then what we can do is we can merge these guys. So there's lots of ways to skin a cat. This is not necessarily the most efficient, but anyway. So click that, click the next guy, merge it last, bam, do the same thing here, merge it last, bam. Okay, and now we just have a very simple rectangle. We can select all 4 of these points because we need a face right there, right? And we can press F to create a new face, and boom, there we go. Now it's fixed. So yeah, sometimes Blender does a little weird things with the bevels and you have to change them, but yeah, that's how we can do that. And let's say, let's go back, undo all of this, see if we can get back to the beveling. Nope, I did too much. So that's one disadvantage that Blender has over CAD, is that if you do too much, you can't go all the way back and undo some of the things that you've done. So that's one reason why saving occasionally is probably a good idea. Because I was going to show you, you don't necessarily just have to do 45-degree angles with these bevels. So I'll show you that anyway. I'll just show you on a different face. So let's see, say we want to bevel this face. Let's do Control B, and you can see it's doing the 45, but if I scroll my mouse, it'll create more faces, and you can get a nice rounded face instead of, you know, just having the 45-degree one. And again, it because we have this other line here, it's doing some kind of funky things. So if, you know, that ends up becoming a problem, you might have to change up your bevel just a little bit, but yeah, I don't know. So sometimes functions need a little bit of extra massaging to get them to work the way that you want. But so I mean, if I go back, the way that we could get this bevel to actually do what we want is, again, use our knife tool, and let's just make a different line alternative to this one. So let's just cut one here, and we'll do another one over here. We'll cut, you know, a line from this point. Oops. You got to make sure that you're on the right point and plane and face and all that stuff. And we'll cut that. And then what we can do to get rid of this other line that's messing up our bevel is select the faces, and we should be able to right click and click dissolve faces, and that should all become one single face. And now watch this, when we do Control B and do our bevel, we get a nice flat side. We don't have it doing that weird like angular thing because it had that other line. So anyway, sometimes when you're doing bevels, you need to clean up your extra lines because they can affect the way that the bevel turns out. But that's it for my Blender tutorial today. Just some super simple, super fast how to model in Blender. I hope that was useful. So let me real quick go to our website So again, I'm with Cloud Underground. A little about Cloud Underground. Cloud Underground is a venture capital company that helps cloud native businesses get funding. Building custom forged enterprise servers is part of how we help clients meet their funding goals. So yeah, just keep that in mind. I'm about to jump into a server that I custom built to play Terraria. So learn more about that process in the RPG of Life Incubator, where we show that building a business is as easy as playing an RPG. Use the link in the description of this video to sign up for free today. And here it is, the RPG of Life Incubator. So that's where you get to it. Anyway, like I said, I'm about to play on my Terraria server. So let's get that going. So here's our game scene, and we'll play a little Terraria today. So I like Terraria as a demo kind of application because as a game, you know, lag, it's really sensitive to lag and things like that. And we have this Terraria server running in an instance of the Underground Nexus. So you can hop into Terraria and, you know, test out the Underground Nexus or test it out as a server and see what kind of performance you can get out of it. So I click join via IP, and I click my character, then I click the server, then I'm going to hide the password real quick, not that it's that big of a deal. And now we are in Terraria, so you can see the kind of performance that you get out of the Underground Nexus in one of these web tops. This Terraria server is running on an instance of the Underground Nexus in its own dedicated web top. And it plays quite nicely, I think. Pretty low lag, and yeah, it works really, really well in my opinion. So that's one of the reasons I like to play Terraria, just so everybody knows why. And yeah, one of the things that I need to do in Terraria here is I need a summoning staff that can summon a companion that can help me fight, and I think the only one that I have access to right now takes spider fangs, and you can see we've got a ton of spider fangs right now. Oh, I also bought some stuff for, maybe I'll make that real quick. So if you use yo-yos in this game, then it's really helpful to have the yo-yo accessories that make yo-yos super good. And that is the yo-yo bag. You can see one right here. It gives the user master yo-yo skills. And so I'm going to create another bag because two of the ingredients in the yo-yo bag are the yo-yo glove and a counterweight. As you can see, we have a red counterweight here. So all that we need to finish is to craft a string, which is right here, white string, bang. Okay, so we just crafted that. Now we should be able to craft a yo-yo bag, and boom, we got another yo-yo bag in case anybody else ends up in the server and wants to be a yo-yo master. Boom. Okay, anyway, because I do like the yo-yo quite a bit. It's one of the better weapons in my opinion in Terraria. And I got this cool painting. Maybe I'll find a place for that. Where do I want to go right now? Oh, another thing that I'm going to do is get some music going. So we have a radio station that runs 24/7 on our Cloud Underground YouTube page. If you ever need music to have going behind the screen, something like, oh, sorry about that, stream or something like that. And let me also do this so it's in my ears. Okay. So if you ever want music to go behind a stream or something like that, all our music on the station is DMCA free, so you should be good to go on that regard. So yeah, go check it out. Alright, like I said, I was going to craft that spider staff now that I crafted my yo-yo bag. And to do that, I just need spider fangs, and I think maybe like an anvil or something. Summon spiders to fight for you. This is the one I want. I already have the queen spider staff. That summons a minion that just is in a single spot all the time. So you can see right there, she'll just shoot stuff for me, but I really need minions that can move. So let's craft one of these. And let's put our spider fangs back. And now that I can summon a spider that fights for me. Now I got a spider behind me. And watch, if I click on this thing right here, that allows me to now have an extra one. So if I do it again, now I got 2 spiders following me. And they fly, so they're very strange spiders. So that's cool. Anyway. Now I got the staff. I really need to fight one of these mechanical monsters is the next thing. So let's try that. The first thing I'm going to do is, I guess if you eat food, that really helps your stats and whatnot. So there's a few things. A, I have much better healing potions. This restores 90 life. This restores 100. This restores 150. How much life do I have? 400. So 150 restores, you know, 2/3 of the bottom bar or so. So I guess I don't need all of these, but let's take 10 of them for my fight. And I got spiders. What else do I need? Maybe a stone skin potion or something. Wormhole flipper, water walking, obsidian skin. Provides immunity to lava. Oh, that's not helpful. Provides life regeneration. Well, maybe that would be helpful. Gravitation, thorns. Attackers also take damage. Night owl potion, hunter potion, shine potion, archery, mining, spelunkers. Here's what I was looking for. Increase defense by 8. Increase enemy spawn rate. We don't want that, but I do want that. I think I'd probably want a regeneration potion too. Let's try a swiftness potion as well. That'd probably be helpful. Should get all these next to each other. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I think that will help us. Let's see what else can I don't necessarily need this. So let's do that, and what was I gonna put in there? There's something helpful I think I can put in that slot. Immunity to slow and confusion, blah 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 blah. Enables auto swing. Just looking at what's going to help me the most. This will probably help the most. Provides life regeneration, reduces the cooldown of healing potions by 25. Also curious, is this a material? Oh, it's not. Okay. So let's try all of that. And let's eat a cheeseburger. And then I'm gonna try, I'll try the twins maybe. Or should I try, I tried Skeleton Prime last time. I'm gonna try the twins this time. So let's eat some burgers. Exquisitely stuffed. If I eat another one, does that make a difference? Nope. Okay. Swiftness, regeneration, iron skin, twins. Alright, let's see. Let's see what happens here. Oh, it might need to be nighttime. I might have ruined things. I think it needs to be night before I can summon them, so let's get it to be night by sleeping a little here. This usually goes fairly quickly once I start sleeping. Of course, it's like right in the morning. That's so aggravating. I just want to fight something, and I waited until it was too early, and of course I applied all my buffs. Ugh. Alright. We'll sit here and sleep for a moment. I mean, what are the buffs? So I got Iron Skin, Defense by 8, Life Regeneration, 25% increased move speed. Alright, we're already at 10 a.m. Let me sleep next to a clock so I can watch the time tick by a little bit better. Or not. Or not. Oh, maybe I can... Oh, here we go. I guess the reason that I can't see the time is because I don't have one of those GPS things equipped. Since I used all these potions, I really want to actually, you know, give this time. Because these work on real time and not game time. So I think if we just sleep until the night, then I'll still be able to use these, essentially have them be active when I activate the boss. And let's see, my Ruthless Amarak. Ooh, the gradient is very good. Fast speed, weak knockback. Fast speed, very weak knockback. So this has higher knockback. But knockback's not going to be helpful when fighting the boss, so let's wait until this gets to like 6, and then we probably can summon. I wonder if I can move my Spider Queen. Well, I probably want to fight these guys, not necessarily right next to all the people because they'll get killed, so... Okay. Probably good enough. Let's try. But let's try it somewhere else. So I'm going to... Where do I want to fight these guys? Honestly, up in the sky could be pretty good. So let's do that. So I'll move up here. Oh, that's right. I can't walk on the water anymore. Well, what we're going to do is move to the next one. That doesn't have a giant lake. Getting close, getting close, getting close, and then we're going to try this. And I'll still have some good stuff, so almost there. I think 4 minutes will be good enough amount of time for these buffs to be active during the battle. Okay, let's try. Boom. Oh yeah, the other thing I meant to do. Oh, now that I've got them going, let's get that going. Alright. Ah! Hopefully you guys can hear the sound. I can't because I kind of had a bug. And I need to be on the correct keys. Man, I'm getting just beat up here. I keep depleting my mana really quick. I probably want to focus on one as much as possible. I think once one goes down, it'll become a much easier fight. I need health too, but I can't use a potion yet, so I'm still waiting on that. Let's use this other cloud. Okay, we got one of them mad. Oh man, that's not good. I think I used the wrong button there. This is going okay, but oh, until that happens. Oh my gosh, that is so brutal. I don't think that this is going to work out for me. I still got another... stop doing that. Alright, come on, come on. I got 15 more... Oh, 15 more seconds until I can get some more life. 9 seconds, 8. Come on, guy. 5, 4, 2, 1, 6. Alright. Alright. Alright, I think I'm gonna do it. This is looking good. Just had to get the first one down. And my little spiders are helping. See how they're attacking him? I should have put that spider queen over here. Boom! They are defeated. The twins are defeated. So that's my first mechanical boss. That should allow the steam pumper to move in. Just making sure I pick everything up that I dropped. Alright, that was awesome. Cool. Mission successful! And you can see the spider was over here not helping me at all because I put her here and I didn't end up fighting here. I ended up fighting over here around this cloud where I could like land on it and stuff, which was helpful. Sweet! Alright, well that's that. Let's go back. Okay, no steampunker yet, so should see when she moves in. And yeah, it was just enough time. I had just enough time to finish all these. I may go do a fishing quest real quick while I'm kind of waiting for the new girl to show up. That was weird. A little bit of lag there. Yeah, give me a quest. Sky Lakes, Fish of Cthulhu. Okay. So now we gotta go get fishing gear, which is all in here. I usually put it in here. Boom, boom. Got these 3 things. We'll equip a GPS so I know where I am, and a fishing rod, and I need some bait. Usually helpful. Now I'm on the master bait because I can get it relatively easily. I do need my wrong button, but that's okay. We weren't very far away. Now I need to put on this. There we go. Might as well give me the stars. Okay, and here's my fishing pond in the sky. So we should be able to catch that Cthulhu thingamajigger here. No, assuming that things let me. Man, I can't see crap. Bass. Bass. Catch a lot of bass doing this. Bass. Come on, where's the Cthulhu fish? There it is, Fish of Cthulhu. Easy quest. Let's see what else we can get. There we go. Ooh, a pearlwood crate. That could have some good stuff in it. Bass. Let's see what's in the crate. Good enough. All right, so going back, I'm just gonna put my fishing gear away. Ooh, actually, I'm gonna go straight to the fisherman because I don't have a lot of time. I think 2 might be when his quest resets. Which means I might have missed it. Oh yeah, I got it. What did he give me? Some stuff. Wandering eye kite, cool. What's in the pearlwood crate? Did he give me a weather radio too? Palladium and a lesser healing potion. Alright, not a bad haul, not a bad haul. Now I can put away my fishing gear. So this goes here. This. I like the GPS just so I know I'm in the correct place. Oops. See, I'm always accidentally pressing that 0 thing again. And put that back, and I don't think there's anything in there that'll quick stack. Oh. I'll grab this weather radio, I guess. Quick stack these. Hallowed bar, where did I get that? I must have gotten that from one of the twins. Quick stack, we'll throw some hallowed bar in here. Sword items, yeah, there's no ore for hallowed bars, I don't believe. Oh, soul of sight, soul of flight. I know I have a few more types of souls to get, which they're all gonna go here. So we'll do that for now. Anyway, okay, that's all wonderful. Defense fall damage can be placed. Got a lot of cloud already here. Alright. That's pretty much that. Alright, cool. Well, I think it's going to be kind of a quick Terraria session today, but I did defeat the twins, which I had on my to-do list for a while. I'm trying to think what else I've got on my to-do list. I mean, I got these spiders. That's a big thing that I needed. And I should be able to start getting better summoning items before too long here. But oh, there's one more thing I'd like to do, I guess, before I sign off. And that, well, nah, I'm done. I'm done. So I will see you all next week. Let's see here. Before I do that, let's turn that down a little bit, and then I just wanted to say thanks for tuning in, everybody. In order to support me and future streams, go and sign up for the RPG of Life Incubator. Make starting a company as straightforward as playing an RPG with the RPG of Life Incubator from Cloud Underground. Start building your business free today. Link in the description. Get it now. Yes, go get the RPG of Life Incubator. That's it for me. I am Jordan with Cloud Underground. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Thank you. Bye.